It's the morning of August 20th, 2024, and at HMP Fosse Way, the world's most high-tech prison, located in Leicester, England, inmate 21-year-old Thierry Robinson has just exited his cell after being let out for the day. He's captured here on CCTV with a huge grin on his face, heading over to his neighbour, 18-year-old Ashiri Smith.
That was an evil look. Did you see that?
With a huge grin on his face.
Oh my God, you can see.
Heading over to his neighbour, 18-year-old Ashiri Smith. After waiting for him momentarily, the pair walk down the block and head over to the other side.
They got on Nikes and rolls.
After waiting for him momentarily, the pair walk down the block and head over to the other side to a cell belonging to convicted Mahir Mohammed. When they re-emerge, there's no sign of Mahir. Now, one might take a look at this and think there's nothing wrong. However, ladies and gentlemen, something serious just went down in Mahir's cell. And if you hadn't guessed it by now, Thierry Robinson and Ashiri Smith had just murdered a paedophile.
Oh!
If you're wondering why HMP Fosse Way looks more like a hotel than a prison, well, that's because it's classified as Cat C. Prisons in the United Kingdom are ranked in categories. A being the most secure, home to some of the country's most dangerous people, all the way through to Category D, which is essentially a big home that prisoners have to live in, instead of going to their actual residence. In a Cat D prison, some of the inmates are allowed to leave to go to work or study, and then return. If they prove that they can do that over a period, they're even allowed to spend multiple days out of the prison and stay overnight at an approved address, say with a girlfriend, for example. HMP Fosse Way isn't quite that. Again, it's a Cat C resettlement prison. In other words, it's a highly secured facility that's designed to prepare inmates for reintegration into society without leaving. It offers certain amenities such as access to a gym facility, five-a-side football pitches.
Yes, this is in the jail, bro. This is crazy. But this about them other countries, though. You know, them other countries be really trying to change you, who you is as a person. I feel like in the U.S., they trying to make you go crazy. They trying to make you loco. You're just an animal.
There's a music studio, computers within the cell, and even offers
I bet you it's way less fights, way less murders.
Educational workshops in various sectors.
Right.
So yeah, that's why some of you may think it looks like a hotel. I mean, to be fair, you wouldn't be by yourself in thinking that way, because when it first opened back in 2023, the prison made headlines for exactly that. Online critics compared it to a luxury hotel. They said, at the bare minimum, it was better than student accommodation.
I want to put y'all on to some of the easiest money you'll ever make in your life. Freecast.com is a website that allows you to literally get paid hundreds of dollars just for playing video games on your phone. All you need is an email and a password. Follow the directions on each of the campaigns and you can earn at least $100. My personal favorite game to play was Sunrise Island, and when I clicked on it, they had a $370 bonus. I got $370 just for playing a video game on my phone. On average, it only takes about 17 minutes for most people to start earning money on freecash.com. So if you need some free, easy, extra money, go to freecash.com, click the QR code right here, or go in the description below and start getting that bag. You did?
Over the past couple of years, HMP Fosse Way has gone viral for both positive and negative reasons. On the one hand, you had YouTuber Mr. Who's the Boss dub it the world's highest tech prison. While on the other hand, you had inmates within the prison filming TikTok videos complaining that sex offenders were being put on certain wings where they'd be able to see women and children who were visiting the facility.
See, now that's weird and crazy, but I don't know because it's like, I know a lot of that do crime and get caught on purpose to go back. They'll get caught on purpose, go back in there. I'm like chilling on TikTok.
This is HMP Fosse Way. We're on E block at the minute, and we're looking over to F block and the car park. Now, the jail wants to put the nonces on E and F wing, so when people's visitors and children come to visit people, they can see the car park and they'll be stood at the windows doing nasty things to the people's visitors. We want to protest about this. And the visits go straight in where you can see it.
Not him whispering.
Now, it's not good because, like I say, this E and F block look over the car park and we don't want them our kids. It's not fair. They should not get this block and where they can see public human people coming in. It's an outrage, and it needs a petition that we.
Who is whispering?
They can have A and B block.
You ain't doing a good job, bro.
And people's families that come into the jail, we need to get them to petition as well and protest against them, because they can't be on the outside fence looking at all the kids and the people coming in. It's not fair. And we are.
Y'all shouldn't have had no windows.
Was mixed in with the inmates was 31-year-old Mahir Mohammed. His image bizarrely hasn't been published, and there's only a small section in the news as to why he even ended up in HMP Fosse Way to begin with.
Right. So he was
Mr. Mohammed had been jailed for an online conversation with a girl whom he thought was in her early teens. The girl was a decoy set up to snare paedophiles. The vigilante group behind the snare reported him to the police, and he ended up being jailed at HMP Fosse Way.
Oh, okay.
For that conviction, he was handed a 35-week prison sentence and was due to be released on August 21st, 2024. So yeah, Mahir had been caught by an online sting group and had landed himself in jail. We don't know what his time was like in the jail for the most part, but according to a report, his life had been made a literal living hell in the few weeks leading up to his release. This would have been around the time he crossed paths with his killers, Ashiri and Thierry. Those two, by the way, are infamous in their own right. Yes, this story takes a whole other turn when we come to find out that one of them is a relatively famous and successful UK drill rapper, and the other made national headlines for being extremely brazen with a firearm. Thierry, known by his alias Trills.
Why y'all got them in there then? They supposed to be in the jail. Y'all do your own work. Y'all tripping.
He's been making music for some years. His videos have racked up millions of views. However, he wasn't just a rapper, he was also
They got Crips in the UK?
And that's how he ended up in HMP Fosse Way for 5.5 years. It was the circumstances surrounding Ashiri's arrest back in late 2023 that made news outlets from across the country pick up on his story. He had videoed himself dancing with a loaded gun. For that, he was jailed for 3.5 years in April of 2000.
Oh, they not playing over there. You got jailed for showing a video of a gun, boy?
In 24, HMP Fosse Way was where he was going to call home while serving his sentence.
They don't even got hollow points. You got FMJ bullets up in there. What are you doing, bro? Oh, they not playing out there. Oh, they not playing out there, boy. They came strong, sturdy, breaking. Woo! This is all for just because he showed a video of a gun, gang. But y'all know guns ain't even legal out there. So if you got a gun, there's no way you can legally have a gun, I don't think, in the UK.
Come to the front door now with nothing in your hand. What's your name?
He looking like God! And they found the same gun under the mattress. He got 3 years for that. What? That's crazy, gang. They not playing. Look how she touching it. She look like she touching them over like she ain't never seen a gun before. It's just different over there though.
To be a Walther self-loading pistol made in Germany. Appears to be a 9mm with a 19-round capacity.
Once Mahir had crossed paths with the pair, they subjected him to weeks of verbal taunts and physical attacks due to the nature of his offending.
Oh, so
on
they've
August
been beating on
19th, 2024, just 2 days before he was due to be released, Ashiri had visited Mahir's cell on 12 different occasions. While there, he verbally insulted him and physically assaulted him. Towards the end of the day, Mahir threw a kettle filled with boiling water through the gap of his cell door, which hit both Ashiri and Thierry.
Oh. Okay. So y'all was tweaking with him. Y'all was tweaking with him for a long time. You visited his cell 12 times before he got out. And then you knew he was about to get out, and you knew he got caught talking to the, you know what I'm saying, a younger girl. And y'all was playing with him and beating him, whooping him, going to his cell, talking crazy, doing all that. He threw some water at y'all. I guess it was boiling, he said. and it hit both of them. So then now y'all like, all right, bet we finna show you something.
It was a revenge attack. This had been the first time he retaliated. Given the fact he was due to be released on the 21st, he probably thought he'd been
like,
alright for a day.
Yeah,
however, according to a
yeah,
report, as the hours went on, he asked to be moved to a different part of the prison as he feared for his life. Reality set in. That move wasn't granted, and well, you know what went down the following morning.
Ooh, and they walked in there.
At around 7:45 a.m. on August 20th, 2024, Mahir Mohammed had been found unresponsive in his cell by a female prison officer. He had been repeatedly punched.
Did they just knock on the door? Why is he letting them in the door? You can't lock your own door?
Responsive in his cell by a female prison officer. He had been repeatedly punched, kicked, and stamped over the course of around 37 seconds. Thierry and Ashiri couldn't appear weak after the kettle attack. It marked Mahir for death. His prediction was correct. He would officially be pronounced dead by paramedics around an hour after the attack. His eventual cause of death was a bleed to the brain.
They walked in there, they looked
The investigation was swift, the pair were banged to rights, and eventually they were charged with murder.
That's crazy.
They surprisingly denied the charge.
And I'm trying to figure out, sir, it's on camera, bro. Like, y'all like, what you thought was finna happen, bro?
That were placed against them and went on trial in the spring of 2025. In the end, Ashiri was found guilty of murder and was sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum term of 17.5 years, whilst Thierry Robinson was found not guilty of murder but was found guilty of manslaughter and received an 11-year prison sentence.
That's crazy. They should have both got sentenced.
Some of you may be sitting there asking yourself, how did a convicted end up on the same wing as normal inmates? And more simply put, HMP Fosse Way, like many other prisons in the United Kingdom, are throwing all inmates in together because we have a prison overcrowding crisis.
Yeah,
no,
that's
like
crazy,
literally
bro.
within 19 months of HMP Fosse Way being built, it was 98% full. Both the Conservative and Labour governments have tried to get a grip of the situation, but nothing's really worked.
It's crazy, bro. All these countries, they building more prisons, bro. They building more and more prisons.
More prisons are being built, but that takes years, and with a prison population on the rise, it means they just can't keep up. They've got other measures in place as well, like releasing some inmates early. That includes violent sex offenders, by the way. But to no surprise, some people just can't be fixed, and they end up back in jail a short while later. We've all seen the headlines recently. This further adds to the problem. Regarding sex offenders, Justice Secretary Shabana Mahmood announced that the government plans to introduce...
Imagine you go to jail for 9 years. You get out of jail and go rob the same day. What are you doing, bro? What are you doing, bro? You tweaking, gang. You just went to jail for 9 months for robbing somebody. You gonna get out of jail, out of prison, and go rob somebody the same day? Cool, you couldn't even wait 12 more hours until the next day, folks. Do your homework.
Chemical castration in 20 prisons across England and Wales to help potentially alleviate this problem. According to reports, inmates within these 20 prisons will be asked first to volunteer. It will be a pathway to release. If all goes well and successful, they then plan to roll it out as a mandatory sentence to again help reduce the prison population. So, how does the British government take control of this situation then? If you have any suggestions, I'd like to know what...
Man, this boy, shit, move everybody out the country. Yeah, I'll be tweaking, gang. I ain't never met nobody who wanted to go to prison. But nowadays, folks, it's like, gotta go to jail to claim they gangster, folks. It's like a badge of honor. You come home, you like, I'm more gangster than you. I was on left 5 camp. I went to prison, boy. You stupid as I wish I would go up in there. Y'all is crazy, bro. I ain't trying to go up in that place. But these young boy, they different, gang. It's like they be trying to go up in there. They get on Instagram. You see, folks, it's the same shit in London. He on Instagram with the pipe. Now, you can't even have guns in the whole country. You on Instagram with a gun. Do you know how hard it was for him to get that gun? It wasn't easy like Chicago, Texas, Georgia. He had to do some shit to get that gun, bro. To even find out who had the gun, he had to do that, bro. He had to pay some real decent money, gang. He ain't even had no hollow point bullets in the money. and he gonna get on Instagram like these right here, like, look, I got a gun. Look, I got a gun. I look like King Von. I said, look, I got a gun. And got 3 years in jail. Then you went and smoked on camera in prison, my guy?
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Like, you disgust me.